Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to review an exercise, a Raja Yoga, a Bhrigu Yoga exercise that warms up our joints from feet to head. It's a very important exercise for keeping our joints lubricated, for fighting inflammation in our joints, for keeping our body lubricated as we age. For people 40 and up, it's recommended to do this once a day, otherwise once a week or every few days should suffice. It starts from the ground, and then the second half is standing up. So we start by moving our feet from side to side. Important throughout this exercise is to make the movements as complete as possible. So we try to actually go all the way to the right and then all the way inwards, all the way externally, all the way inwards, with our focus, our attention on the ankle joints. Then we do big outward circles, trying to go from as much as point as we can to as much as flex as we can, and for the circle to be as big as possible. Here as well, the concentration is on the ankle joints. And the other way. And we do points and flex, as much point as we can and as much flex as we can. Again, concentration is kept on the ankle joints. Now on our back, we do bicycle movements. We try to take the knee all the way to the stomach and to finish with the knee straight and the toes in flex. And the other way. Again, big movements. And the concentration here is behind the knees. Now, on our backs, we keep our knees straight and we do very big circles with our entire leg, keeping the concentration on the hip joints and the knee is straight, the foot is in flex. You do the same for the left leg, outwards circles. And the right leg, inward circles. Again, I'm trying to make the movements as big as possible. And the left leg. Now we take both legs up and we separate them and join them back together. Here too, concentration is in the crutch, the hip joint. Legs here are, feet are in flex, knees straight. Now we take our feet and we put the palm of the feet facing each other, and we try to keep them facing each other while taking the knees and joining them. We try to make these movements not too fast, not too slow. Here is important to keep the palm of the feet facing together while we are taking the knees up as much as possible. And at the top, we're trying to make the knees touch. Now legs are straight. And with our feet in flex, we take one foot up at a time. Concentration here is in the back of the thigh, all of the leg that's going up. Here too, the foot, when it's going up, is in flex and the knee is straight. If these movements aren't big, they're not going to make the beneficial effect as much. And now the two legs together, coming up, and the concentration here is in the lower abdomen. Now we take the legs down. We make a big exhale through the nose, and then a very big inhale. We keep the air inside after the inhale, and take both our feet up 20 centimeters in the air and keep them there until we're out of breath, and then slowly we exhale and bring the feet down. So let's do this. I'm exhaling, and then we now take the right knee, bend it, and take it as close as possible to our chest. We hug it with both our hands. We close our eyes. And through the nose, we make very big breaths in and out. And when we're breathing in, we feel our stomach inflating and pushing down. And when we exhale, the gain reduces. We want to feel the stomach inflating. This should be very, very enjoyable, very relaxing. A lot of our tension comes from not being able to properly breathe to our abdomen and fill our stomachs properly. So here we're doing that. And we switch the knees. We hug the left knee. And again, very big breaths in through the nose. Inflate the stomach and push it downwards and outwards. And exhale, stomach reduces again. Now we take each knee by a separate hand and make space between them so our stomach has the full space to inflate and push down between our legs and into our hip joint. Again, with our eyes closed, we breathe in through the nose. Stomach inflates and pushes down. And when we exhale, everything relaxes again. When we're finished, we lie down in Shavasana in the corpse position. Take some regular breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. All the body relaxes. When we feel comfortable, we turn to the left side. We take a few breaths. Then we slowly come up to a standing position. This next part, we're working on the upper part of the body. So we start by keeping our hip straight. Imagine if you have a belt buckle, it will continue to look forward. And we're basically squeezing our back. So our eyes, our hands, and all the level of the spine from our hip upwards they are squeezing to each and every side. But this part always stays facing forward. Now we take the right hand and make very big circles backwards. Again, here, for this to be beneficial, my elbow has to be straight, my entire hands have to be straight. And this is just keeping the entire vector here very, very straight so that my back can actually get the stretch that it needs. Here our focus is right here on the side that we're doing the work on, our left hand. Now both hands, they go straight up. So we keep the hands straight like this, and we just go straight up. And then the back side of the hand, they meet each other up the upstairs, above the head. Now we put our hands on our shoulders and we try to meet the elbows as low as we can, and then take them up together as much as we can high before separating them. So we're trying to actually get the most we can, the most movement we can out of this. And here we're concentrating on the shoulder joints. And then the other way around, we try to meet the elbows as high as we can and keep them together all the way as low as possible before separating them. And release that. Take our hands forward and close and open our fists. When we close it really hard. And when we open as much as possible, we open it. Here, our focus, our attention is on the joint of the wrist. And then we keep it closed and do these revolutions, one side and the other side. Now we do very small turns of the head. Here our focus is on the neck joint. It's a very, very sensitive one, so we need to do it very slowly. We want our circles to be as full as possible. The movement is big and slow as possible. And we move to the other side. And now we do half turns. So we're trying to have our chin touch the shoulder, and between movement to movement, to be as glued as possible to the body. Now the final movement basically takes our chi or our prana and sits it on the top of the head. I'll explain it once and then show it once. So we take both our arms and we do a very big exhale through the nose, like someone just punched us in the belly, and then we take our hands as they are like this, As we inhale through the nose, we take our hands up. The length of the movement should be the length of the breath. So when I finish breathing in, I'm all the way up. Here I'm doing kumbhak. I'm keeping the air inside for a few seconds, up till 10, or until I feel uncomfortable with this. And towards that, I exhale slowly through the nose, taking the hands down all the way on the head. When I finish exhale, my hands are there. So always our movement is in the length of our breath. And then down, I'm in Vikumbhak. I'm holding the air outside. Then after a few seconds, when I feel comfortable enough, I again inhale very deeply. And with that inhale, I take my shoulders up, squeeze them up while squeezing down with my hands against the head. So I'm really squeezing the head between the shoulders and the hands and keeping all the prana inside. And my concentration now, as the air is inside and keeping it in kumbhak inside, is in the tip of the head, what we call the sahasrara or the crown chakra. When I've had enough and feel comfortable, I slowly exhale and release. Okay, so I'll just show this once. When I do this, my feet are together as well. So my legs are straight, my feet are just on the mattress together. And I do this, of course, with my eyes closed, so I can concentrate on the movement, on the breathing. If keeping the balance with your feet together proves challenging, you can always just separate them a bit, not more than shoulder width, and do that last iteration with the legs a bit separated. So that's it for the joint warm-up. Again, it's a wonderful exercise. As you see, it warms up our bodies from the feet all the way up to the tip of our head. And really also in that process lubricates the joints. It helps us fight off and prevent, like an insurance policy, prevent joint disease, arthritis. And, you know, part of getting older, if we don't work to get those insurance policies in place, is our mobility is the first thing that starts to be restricted. And that, of course, hampers our entire ability to do anything, right? So keeping the body lubricated as we age is very important. And this is why before anything else we do in yoga, we first maintain the basics of just keeping the body in good working condition. And as you see also, it raises the prana, it raises the energy from the feet all the way to the head. So it's also a good practice, right? Because energy always flows with gravity downwards if we don't do proactive action to rise above it. And the attention in the joints where we're working is very important. Otherwise, it's just another gymnastics exercise. So your attention has to be in the joints. Your chi or your prana, your attention, it has to be where you're working. It's part of what drives the energy there, what drives the movement there. And then, of course, just keeping the movements as full as possible. So, for example, if you're doing these, you're just doing these, you know, like that, that's not going to work, right? Because that's not going to make anything stretch in our back. For making this work, everything has to be straight, the elbow, the hands. Then you're doing a much fuller exercise, which actually wakes up the body, which actually warms up and lubricates those joints. So all the movements, please make sure to add there your attention, your focus on the specific joint you're working on, and make the movement as full and complete as you can. That's all for this exercise. If you're over 40, please try to practice it daily or at least once a week. Thank you for viewing, and remember, if you're not practicing this regularly, this will not help. But if you do, this can be a great insurance policy as you age. Thank you.